Today we're going to be talking about the L85A3. For everyone that is new, we have been unlocking level 50 as an elite badge or mastery badge on every single gun in Battlefield 6 over the last 2 months. We finally did that 2 days ago, and every Saturday I post a video where I take a weapon that I find to be a little underappreciated but also extremely good in the game and worth using, and I talk about it for a little bit. And today it's the L85A3. This gun is hardly used. It's not talked about, but it is extremely good. And it is one of the better 25 damage ARs in the game, if not the second best 25 damage AR, alongside the B36, the M433, and the SOR 556 Mark II. I've been doing a lot of testing with the L85, and I found that it actually has a faster time to kill than the NVO, a faster time to kill than the SOR, and a very similar time to kill as the B36. A big thing that comes into play is fire rate with these weapons, or ROF. And what I found with the L85 is that because it shoots a little faster than the SOR, which we're gonna be doing the comparison against the SOR in this video, because a lot of people don't understand how bad the SOR actually is. The gimmick with the SOR is that it has basically no recoil and no bloom. Problem is that gun is very weak in close range engagements, and a lot of times when I'm using the SOR, I find myself dying a lot because the quote-unquote close range engagements aren't that close. They could be 15 to 20 meters out and you would still lose that gunfight even if you shot first. With the L85A3, they could be 10 meters out and you are actually going to end up winning that gunfight because you have a faster fire rate of almost 100 more ROF, and you also have a faster muzzle velocity by 17 ms, which isn't that much faster, but it does help. There are a lot of things that come into play, obviously, when you want to, if you want to use the L85. It's not, the L85 isn't the SOR equivalent. It is its own gun, and it is really good. It is the in-between of the NVO and the SOR. I've had a lot of success with this gun over the last couple of days. I've been using it. A few key things to mention with it is it wins in medium to close range. The farther you get, the worse it gets because it doesn't have as much precision. On screen, you're going to see the stats right now. The L85 has a 34 hip fire with the current build that I have, which I will show in a second. Its precision is 42, its control is 62, and its mobility is 38. Your ADS time is going to be slightly slower because I'm using a classic foregrip, but I mean, you guys can put kind of whatever build you want on the gun since it already has like no recoil for the most part. So if you guys are a fan of the 45 stub, you could totally do that, but light and suppressor all the way, no matter what gun you're using, because they kind of beef that thing up. The gun's sweet spot really is in the medium range. I mean, I don't really recommend taking a lot of close range gunfights, but you can win them. This gun is one of those guns that if you like to think, it's such an odd thing to say, but if you're a person that really likes to think when they play a video game and really want to think about positioning and where the best spot is to take a gunfight, this is a really good gun for you. This gun allows you to actually have a pretty, or this gun forces you to have a good thought process when you're going into gunfights. I found myself constantly thinking more about which corners I am peeking, what I'm doing, where I'm positioning myself on the map at certain times. Like it's one of those weapons where you actually have to read the room, and I think that's so much fun because a lot of the weapons in the game you kind of don't have to do that. You could just run around, especially the 33 damage weapons, because obviously you have that chance of, oops, if I run into someone really close, even if they have an SMG, I only have to shoot 3 times. And some of the ARs in this game have a very high ROF, and it saves you, and it allows you to play a little on the dumb side. With a gun like this, it forces you to actually think, which I love. I love that. I think it has room for a lot of fun, and I don't think people are appreciating the L85 as much because I feel like it's falling under this category. I feel like all the weapons fall under this weird category where if it's the last gun unlocked in the game or in the category, a lot of people either haven't used it yet or don't know that it could be any good because like they already found their gun. And I am telling you guys right now, if you enjoy low precision, low recoil, medium fire rate and just a lot of accuracy, you will enjoy this gun. It is a very good in between for the SOR. And funny enough, the KTS, it is literally the middle of the road for both weapons. It is very fun to use, and I recommend using this over, honestly, both of them. But it is an AR, so if you're, you know, not an assault player, even if you're trying to use it in another class, it's still really good, and you really don't get penalized that much if you're trying to use it on like engineer or something like that. I did find out that it only has 19 less ROF than the NVO. I was doing a lot of comparisons on this gun earlier, and I was testing a lot of things in the range, and I noticed at 10 meters the NVO starts at a 4-shot kill, and then it moves on to a 5 and then a 6-shot kill beyond 30 meters. So 5 shots at 20 meters and then 6 shots beyond that. And to top that off, the NVO only has 19 more ROF than the L85, and the L85 is a consistent 5-shot at all ranges, which I know is a lot compared to some guns, but consistency is very key in this game. And when you're looking for an all-around weapon that is good, that is going to win you gunfights and help you understand how to play the game and where to stand, consistency is what matters the most. And to have a 4 to 5 shot consistent weapon at all ranges is what most people need, and what I need, because it helps me understand what's going on. A lot of guns like the NVO are so hard to use sometimes because their damage range changes so frequently. At 10 meters it's a 4-shot, but at like 8 meters and closer it's a 3-shot. 20 meters and beyond it's a 4 to 5 shot, and then I think 20 meters to 30 meters it's 5 shots. 30 meters and beyond it's a 6-shot kill. It goes down to 17 damage as a weapon. I physically can't use a gun like that, because if we're in a gunfight in the 30-meter range and then they walk out and become a 7-shot or a 6-shot kill, and I'm expecting them to die in 4 to 5 shots, I get so confused and I end up losing a lot more gunfights. And I'm sure that happens to you guys all the time. You're sitting there using the NVO or the Cord or the SG553, and all of a sudden they walk out of that sweet spot damage range and you're like, uh-oh, I was expecting to kill that guy. That's where the guns like the L85, the B36, the M433, the GTR, or the GRT, sorry, it's not a car, the GRT, M4A1, like all of those guns come into play because they're so consistent, and that's why they're above most of the other weapons, even though they only do 25 damage a shot. Now, the gun's definitely not the best gun in the game. Last week we were talking about a very good gun. We talked about the AK-4D. Does not compare to the AK-4D. The AK-4D is in its own realm. In my opinion, I think the AK-4D is definitely an S-tier weapon, simply for the fact that it just does everything right. It ticks all the boxes and what someone wants, especially a Battlefield player, because OG Battlefield players, or just Battlefield players in general, for the most part, want a medium to long range gun that does the job. It gets the job done. It does a lot of damage. It does things that most guns can't do, and the AK-4D is just that good. So like, I'm not comparing this to the AK-4D. I'm comparing the L85 to guns that are very similar to it, which is why I'm comparing it to the NVO and the SOR and the SG553, because those are some pretty go-to weapons in this game that people are using. And I think a lot of people are misinforming everyone, because nobody's used all these guns as long as I have. I mean, there are a handful of people that have used each weapon in the game a very, very good amount. To use every weapon for 6 hours plus. I have a little bit more information than other people, and also off of stats alone, you can't really tell. So it really pays to play with the gun a lot, especially with all the attachments unlocked. And the attachments, I'm going to show you guys on screen right now, the attachments I am using: classic vertical grip, heavy extended, lightened suppressor, and a 10 fast. The fast mag really doesn't do anything, but I just throw it on because there's, you know, no real reason to use anything else. And then whatever sight you want, just know that the higher magnification, the more visual recoil you are going to get. This isn't saying that, I'm not trying to say that there is a lot of misinformation on the weapons in the game. I'm not trying to say that they're purposefully misinforming you. It's just lack of knowledge, simply for the fact that some people are using guns for like an hour, and then they all of a sudden think they understand how the weapon works, it takes time. This is one of those games where it really takes time. It's not like Call of Duty where you can hop into a game, beam someone across the map because every gun has no recoil, and then go, oh shit, this is the best gun in the game. It takes a lot of time because you have to understand how the weapon works. You have to understand where the sweet spots are. You have to know when you need to tap fire. And I found with the L85, you don't necessarily ever really have to tap fire unless you can't control the recoil. And this is all from a PC player. I'm keyboard and mouse, so there's a lot more recoil for us than there is on console. So you could imagine how much better this is going to be on console, especially with the build. There's going to be no recoil for you guys, basically. It is going to be a laser beam, and if you're already using the SOR, just throw that thing in the trash, because this literally does what the SOR does, but a lot better. Now, if you're holding down the trigger beyond 50 meters, are you going to hit every single shot? No, the SOR will, but the SOR is also going to lose every single gunfight closer than 20 meters. This gun will win more than half of those gunfights. I've had my fair share of double kills within 10 meters, triple kills within 10 meters, and they're looking at me and shooting at me. So like, it is possible. It's not impossible. This gun is very strong. It's very high up there on my list. I think it should be on everyone's radar, and I think a lot of people need to start playing with it, especially with a lot of netcode fixes coming in the next patch on Tuesday. I don't know what they're fixing. They're fixing a lot in the next patch, and it has to do with the netcode. It has to do with hit registration. It has to do with a lot of stuff like that. So slower firing weapons that have slightly higher time to kills than other guns are going to thrive soon. They are going to get really, really good. The AK-4D might get even better than it already is, but the L85 will also become a very strong weapon, because guns, if you're shooting at someone and all of a sudden you miss a bullet and lose the gunfight, guns like that, you will stop losing more gunfights because of the netcode fixes. I don't know how good they're going to be. Obviously, I don't get to play the netcode fixes or anything. No one does, but we're going off of their word and the patch notes that they already provided us. So going off of that, guns with low precision or high precision and lower fire rate are going to get a lot better. And that puts this gun above a lot of other guns in the game. Now, I already compared it to everyone's favorite, the SG553. God forbid I slandered that thing. I don't know why that gun is everyone's favorite. It is terrible. It is terrible. 20 meters and out is already a 5-shot kill. I just respectfully, I would like everyone stop using that gun because it's getting you killed. That is for a special type of demon that only likes to play within the 3-shot range, which is 8 meters and closer. At that point, just use the TR7 or an SMG. I mean, there's no point to even use the SG553. That gun shouldn't be in the game. It's a beautiful weapon. I know why people use it, because it visually, it's one of my favorite guns ever as well. And I understand, but it's not good. It's not good at all. The L85 is the move. Now, for anyone wondering, Red Sec, I have no clue. I don't play that shit. I haven't had time to play it because I'm still working on the vehicles for all the badges. We currently have every badge in the game. And for everyone that's wondering about the badges, this is such a weird little thing. We currently have the light ground transport at level 44. We only need 72,000 XP to master this. So I am busting my ass right now working on that. And I'm using other guns to sort of start building my tier list. The tier list video will be next weekend on Sunday. Tomorrow, we're gonna do a small little taste of the tier list. Today's sort of like today was a little more in depth than I did last week, because I think this type of video is to inform you guys. This type of video is going to help you guys, and I really wanted to do a good job this weekend. Let me know how I did. If I ticked all the boxes, let me know. I really think the L85 is the move when it comes to low recoil, high precision, very good weapon. Your chances of winning in the close range and the medium range are amplified by 100 when you use this over the SOR and the SG553. It really does stand out of the crowd, but I don't think people look at it and go, this gun looks like it fucks. They look at it and go, this gun looks like dog shit. It's not bad. I definitely recommend it. It's going to beat out half of the ARs in the game. It's going to beat out most of the carbines in the game, except for the M277, the M4A1, and the M417. It is definitely better than the QBZ, but that's just my opinion. I would like to keep it around the assault rifle / carbine talk, because It doesn't compare to LMGs. You can't compare to LMGs. You can't compare to SMGs, and you definitely can't compare to snipers and DMRs. It is a completely different ball game with those. And I did say last week that I was going to focus on an SMG this week, or a carbine, but honestly, when I used this gun for the first time in a while, it surprised me, and I genuinely wanted to talk about it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I did a good job. If I did, let me know. And yeah, that's the L85. Goodbye.